what were like some of the biggest challenges or frustrations that made you look for something, look for some sort of a program?
So I think it's the narrative, right? Like when I walk into a recruiter call, hiring manager, sometimes I feel like I can pass those recruiter screens or hiring manager screens, but I think like the it just didn't have like a tight narrative on to show like the best part of what I'm about as a product leader.
Hmm.
So I think those things really fell through, and it's looking back now, reflecting, it's probably the main reason I couldn't move forward in those steps
Yeah.
even though I knew I could do the job. It's just, it's really hard to express that.
People think, oh, behavioral, it's easy. It's just talking about what I did. But it's actually pretty hard to tell a compelling narrative, tell a compelling story.
Oh, certainly. And I would think that I used to be a Amazon bar raiser. I would know, but that's not true. It does not translate. It does not translate that ability 100%.
What were like some of the big aha moments you had first when you first dove into our work together?
It's just like a stark difference in, putting stuff out there, rage applying and not getting answers versus like, hey, I'm able to kind of, elicit attention from the right people, have to filter people out, and have a lot more confidence in my ability to kind
Yeah.
of land a job. That's a huge difference.
Jing, thank you so much for doing this recording with me.
Quite a pleasure.
Awesome. So, for people who are watching this, they're probably considering and trying to understand what intentional product manager, intentional job search is all about. So, first of all, let's just get to know you a little better. Give us a quick 30-second career snapshot before you joined intentional job search.
Yeah, certainly. So I was working for Amazon as a principal product manager, and I was looking out for other opportunities was new challenges, things that would excite me a little bit more. So I think I came to the international product manager program, such as like to kind of help me preparing for that next level career opportunity. Basically, I was kind of looking to transition from Amazon, and this
Mhm.
program really helped.
That's pretty awesome. Let's go into like the life prior to intentional job search. So, had you already started looking for a new role? Like, where were you in your job search journey?
Yeah, certainly. So one funny thing about it is that I'm always on a job search.
Yeah.
I learned this from like a Netflix book, where you should always kind of gauge the market, see what you're worth, right? But in the last year in 2024, it's really intensified where I feel like I need to find a purpose. So I've been looking for jobs, interviewing, without a lot of success
Hmm.
before this program. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So you were already looking. And I guess you mentioned without a lot of success, but what were like some of the biggest challenges or frustrations that made you look for something, look for some sort of a program?
So I think it's the narrative, right? Like when I walk into a recruiter call, hiring manager, sometimes I feel like I can pass those recruiter screens or hiring manager screens, but I think like the it just didn't have like a tight narrative on to show like the best part of what I'm about as a product leader.
Hmm.
So I think those things really fell through, and it's looking back now, reflecting, it's probably the main reason I couldn't move forward in those steps
Yeah.
even though I knew I could do the job. It's just, it's really hard to express that.
You hit the nail on the head. Like so many times I find people think, oh, behavioral, it's easy. It's just talking about what I did. But it's actually pretty hard to tell a compelling narrative, tell a compelling story.
Oh, certainly. And I would think that I used to be a Amazon bar raiser. I would know, but that's not true. It does not translate. It does not translate that ability 100%.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So you look at programs, you looked at intentional job search. Like, what were your biggest hesitations about joining us?
I think like the biggest question I asked, it was BJ who had the initial call. It was that like how do you support? Is there a community behind this, or is it like just some people say they want to help you, right?
Hmm.
And so I think like EJ was able to walk me through the community, like the circles platform, kind of the side channel, just kind of share a screen, like talk to some of the things that people do in this community to support. And I think for me that was the biggest piece, sort of gap, right? I think I worked so hard at my job, and I completely forego my and it works. And this is like something exactly needed. So that kind of, sort of won me over.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were like, hey, is it just going to be a single person or a couple of people coaching rather than like this whole community behind it? And like that was the part that you were looking for.
Yeah, certainly, certainly.
It's funny, like last person who I spoke to also mentioned the same thing. Like the community was such a big aspect of them joining. It's just so hard to do this on their own.
I think so. I think like the encouragement from people, right? Like once you leave your job, it's like there's no. I mean, I left Amazon in December last year. Once you leave your job, like there may be a few people reaching out, but most of them will
Mm,
just be silent and not be able to show support. And then like this community is it's like people like-minded individuals or maybe people benefit from it. They're really there to support, right? Help you, encourage you, and then even kind of putting up the referrals, give you ideas. So I think those are really really valuable, and those are
yeah,
the relationship I want to kind of seek, like to maintain long term from this point
yeah,
out.
amazing. Okay, so I know you had that call with PJ and he also walked you through the community. Was that like the primary thing that convinced you to join, or were there other things also that pushed you over the edge to join us?
I think so. I think it's not a like one thing that stands out is that there's a lot of programs out there that kind of go, all right, well we have an AI search engine that puts alert to you, and then you can there's a click a button, your resume will be updated, your LinkedIn will be great to the job, right? So I think there's a lot of that. I think what differentiates this is that this is not like AI tools put together. It's a
Yeah.
lot more. A lot of sort of helping humans kind of build connection, build narrative, right, and practice, and and there's other aspects of it, such as what I heard you talk about in the YouTube videos is that the system design, the product sets, those things. And I feel like I need fundamentals also to be brushed up, and then to kind of
Mm,
I can excel in those areas as well, because I know that jobs outside of Amazon is not the same as Amazon. So I definitely need to feel I need to touch up on those areas as well. So I think from that aspect, like a sort of a wholesomeness of this program, it's what kind of attracted me to it.
love it. Yeah, I know it has to be humans. AI can help, but it's not a bunch of AI tools. Uh, okay, awesome. So now you're in the program. Um, let's maybe talk about like first few weeks. What were like some of the big aha moment you had when you first dove into our work together?
I think like initially it was hard. It was a lot of work. So it wasn't easy. But I think the big aha moment came when I was able to kind of go through the clear section, go through a teammate, tell me about yourself, and wrote it down, and then kind of practice that with, I think it was Will, and just get in the first drive, and then I can see the value right there. Like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to answer that question. And then be given the flexibility. I think like before my first teammate, I think I slept like 2 hours at night. I just kind of practice and practice, practice. And first try I got a high rating, right? And I was like, okay, cool. This is the pace I should be like, sort of
Hmm.
walking on this, how deep I should go with this narrative. And I see the importance of it. I think that's the biggest aha moment.
I love it. Just so you know, everyone doesn't get for everyone doesn't get a higher. In fact, most people get a lead, no higher, no higher in their first one. So you practiced a lot already, which is awesome. Made life easier for everybody.
Thank you.
Tell us more like your journey through the program, the story of you landing your new role, and like how did the program help? Like walk us through that.
I think just having there's two things, right, that really help. Like one is that there was different sessions throughout the week that I can just
Hmm.
jump on at whatever time works for me, right? So like the twice a week coaching sessions, sometimes I jumped in once a week. Like there's different sessions I can jump on the shadow, see what they're doing, talking about.
Yeah.
And then I think sort of program, even though there's a lot of work, and I think what Sam, one of the coaches said made sense. Like you basically this program is designed to kind of get you convert to the next stage. So and after a while, when I finished my teammate and finished my first story, I felt enough confidence to start applying for job again. And sure enough, right, like I was getting a little bit more better inbound. I was able to kind of reflect on what I put out there, right? Engage with the LinkedIn community and be able to adjust my strategy. Uh, and then, just converting those, engagements into like the recruiter calls. And I started getting so many recruiter calls, I start filtering them out. Like this just wasn't worth the conversation anymore for every one of them. And then I got a hiring manager call. I was able to kind of convert that pretty comfortably. So it's just like every step of the way, it kind of helps you build the confidence more and more. And it's definitely not easy per se. It's I think the hardest part is like look introspectively and say, hey, look, you're not doing the right thing, change directions or, be able to kind of, make yourself do better at certain things, right? But it's definitely rewarding in terms of, hey, I can do things, even as a tough market, even though, uh, the job, my dream job or my target company might not necessarily have 100% match what I'm looking for, but I know I can do this if I just practice more. There's a path to get there. Versus before, like obviously I was kind of applying for jobs. I was rage applying any jobs out there, right? I use AI tools to just kind of see whatever. The ones that's really nice, like oh, your match says job 68%. How to get 68%, I don't know. But right, but like click a button, you can update your resume. All those things were cool, but it doesn't get the results, right? So there's no conversion, So it's just like a stark difference in, putting yourself out there, rate applying and not getting answers versus like, hey, I'm able to kind of, elicit attention from the right people, have to filter people out and have a lot more confidence in my ability to kind
Yeah,
of land a job. That's a huge difference.
that's amazing. Yeah. I love the rage applying concept. And then from there going to like something very intentional that, hey, here's where I'm gonna stand out, here's what I apply. Excellent. Where are you headed? What's the final role that you're taking over?
So it's a role for a company that I used to work for. It's FedEx. I used to work for FedEx as on the operations supply chain side.
Hmm.
So after Amazon, I was a supply chain optimization technology principal product manager. So the role I'm taking
Yeah.
it's called FedEx Dataworks, which is a young company, 3 years old. I'm being hired as a principal product manager as well. They're looking for internal enterprise solutions to help with their digital transformation. They're looking to be a more centric company. So, there's a lot of relatable experience that can help bring to the table
Hmm.
and help the company, succeed in the long run.
That's amazing. Congratulations on the new role.
Yeah, and it's 100% remote, so it's like exactly what I was looking for, right? Like that's where the clarity helps, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want a work-life balance. I wanted to make huge impact. Didn't care about too much else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a definitely win.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head in the sense of, you can always be chasing after roles, but if you don't get first clear on what you want, you're just chasing after the wrong roles. And then you're rage applying and all those things happen because of that. So love it. Okay, last couple of questions. So if you were to describe the program in your own words to somebody who's just getting to know about it, like how would you describe intentional job search?
I think it's a platform where you are invites you to kind of invest into yourself, really. Like that's kind of
Hmm.
the platform I'm looking for. And there's a community of people that you can be part of that help each other. It's definitely a lot of opportunity to get you on the right track. And I think it's formed by people who has a lot of thought into what product management jobs are
Hmm.
and how to do it right, right? Obviously, there's a lot of like changes with the industry. This community also helps with the sort of kind of help you sort of adhere to that change. So I think
Yeah.
that's it, right? Like it's an opportunity for you to invest in yourself, not just to hire some people to kind of do things for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. Cool. Okay. Any other last things you want to say before we sign off?
I think that's pretty much it, and appreciate the opportunity. Looking forward to continue learning and develop that, right? Like my goal is to be. I know maybe this time around I'm not as ambitious as some of the other community members, but definitely I feel like I built a foundation. I want to keep doing that, and then just want to be confident in my the next 5-10 years in whatever job I look for, and
Yeah.
go from there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Joby.
If you want to be one of our next success stories, make sure you book a call with us. I've left a QR code for you to scan. Go to our apply page, book time with us, and chat about your career and your journey to your dream product management role.